Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
We are creating conscious community by sharing mindful manifesting skills and transcendental music.
We are all in this together. You are here on purpose. You are here with meaning. We are here to learn more. We are here for healing. Pain is a message and wounds hold your pattern. We are on purpose, here now together, healing our minds and hearts, feeling our bodies and souls. So far to go, timelessly flow. So far to go, timelessly flow. Akaal. Sad city, city Akaal. City Akaal, Akaal. Akaal Satanam. Akaal Amore Waheguru. Akaal Amore Waheguru. Sad city, city Akaal. City Akaal, Akaal. Akaal Satanam. Akaal Amore Waheguru. Akaal Amore Waheguru. Pain is a message and wounds show your pattern. We are on purpose, here now together, healing our minds and hearts, feeling our bodies and souls. So far to go, timeless sweet flow. So far to go, timeless sweet
Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio.
She's Jaylyn.
And he's Monte.
And here we are.
It is September, and we have a special guest with us today. Jacob Erwin has ridden his bike very far to join us for this podcast.
Yeah, over 200 miles.
Yeah, you have quite the rig. You have a little wagon covering your important things, and your cool tricycle thing with a box on the back, and your trusty sidekick.
Dingo the Bounder Hound.
Yeah, so tell us about that. How's that been?
Well, it has been the most enlightening journey of my whole life. And it has just left me feeling like I'm fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I love it. It's just my passion. It's just what I love to do.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So how did that come about? You just decided I'm going to get on a bike and...
Well, when I was very little, I was church going, and I ended up leading my church in singing. I was lead singer of the church, and so I was called into the ministry at a young age, and I had this idea from a very young age, and then of course your adolescence takes over, all your hormones take over and stuff, and you kind of fall down a different path, and then I came back to it not too long ago. In 2019, I got ordained as a minister, and then I started my YouTube channel about being like a modern day Christ.
Yeah. So what is your YouTube channel?
It's called Son of Man, Tree of Life.
Awesome. Yeah, and you've got 2 series on there. You say the first series, don't bother. Second series is good.
Well, the first season, I would say, don't bother, because I had no clue what I was doing. I wasn't even holding the camera the right way.
Oh, okay.
And I was using my phone as a camera.
Okay.
So it was just like a big learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
somewhere.
So season 1 is just, if you want to see a learning experience, yeah, but it gets kind of boring.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, and you've got like a stack of the memory cards ready for
Season 3. Yep. We're going into it full force this year, and I haven't even begun to stop filming. So I'm going to keep going until November, at least Thanksgiving, and maybe all winter. So
awesome. Could you... Tell us something about your spiritual journey.
Well, it started off like in Colorado. I read the scripture. It says, if you want to be perfect, sell everything you have, give that to the poor, and come follow me. And that's what Jesus said. And I was just like, what is this guy talking about? And so I just took all my stuff, which wasn't a lot of stuff, and I gave it to my friends. Yeah. And because they were poor. And then I started my YouTube channel and became homeless. And because it says in the Bible that Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. And so Jesus was homeless. And I just started doing the homeless thing and giving away all my possessions and really embracing the shame factor, because... that's what it became all about, kind of, is that shame that gets us. Yeah,
it's pretty hard to wander this country, especially, and not be presented with shame.
Stigmatized. Yeah, I was stigmatized. Yeah, that's why it became about homelessness, because I was just doing the Jesus thing. I was just trying to be like super pure and perfect. And people were looking at me like I was just, drinking or doing drugs. There's like, this guy's got to be high or something. Why won't he just, get a job? Why won't he just do this or that? And even my family, at first was like, you're not serious about this, and they wanted me to move on to different things. And that's why it became about the homelessness, because I kept getting stigmatized. And then I dealt with the homelessness personally, and the homeless personally, and they're poor creatures, you know, and they're not in the right mind, and I developed a soft spot for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've been there before in some ways.
Yes. I mean, a lot of us have. A lot of us have been homeless for a little brief period of time, and I was homeless before I started this channel for a brief period of time, and then I got my stuff back together, and then, I started this channel intentionally.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, when you got here, I had just had this experience of someone telling me that I was evil and letting the devil speak through me, and because I teach yoga and yoga lifestyle and mindfulness, and it really disheartened me, and I had like a very it was like an existential crisis for me, actually. I was like, am I wrong? Am I totally out there? What have I done? You know, am I doing the wrong thing?
Are you possessed by a demon, Jalen?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty level-minded, and you know what it says in the Bible, you should judge people by the fruits of their labors, you know, and what I see from Jalen and Monte is like, people love them. They're like a source of energy and peace for this whole community in Viroqua. And man, since I've been here, I feel like 100% better, you know, and I felt really good before I got here. So, and also it says, you know, that, I mean, you guys believe in, obviously you guys believe in the teachings of Christ, because I'm here, I'm a homeless man, and you guys have taken me into your house. You've given me food, you've given me water, you've given me shelter, and you visited me with me like nobody else has. You've given me friendship. And that's one of the most important things that you can give the homeless.
Awesome.
And
cool.
so how you've done to the least of these, and so you've done it to one of the least of these, and so you've done it to him, is what Jesus says. And so, Satan cannot cast out Satan. If you had Satan in you and you were healing people with the devil, that doesn't even make sense, because how can the devil heal people? You know, and then a lot of what you guys do is the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is just joy and contentment. And the Spirit is what drives you. And when you have a bad spirit, your spirit is driven by addiction or materialism or anything like that. But when you have the Holy Spirit, it's just driven by love and compassion and joy.
Yeah, it seems to me like there's more humility.
Right.
You know, and we can be driven by our egos. But if we're driven by our egos, we get all wrapped up in our self-image, and I don't know. There's a lack of humility there. We get arrogant.
It's hard not to get attached to one ego, and so we're running around with multiple egos. All of us. It takes an ego to do this podcast. It takes an ego to jog. It takes an ego to sit down and start the meditation process. And so when we get attached to one of these egos and we say, well, I don't want to do anything but meditate. Well, what's that going to do? Now you're going to turn into a little brat if you don't get to meditate, or if somebody comes and messes up your meditation. Totally. You know, you ever had somebody mess up your meditation?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's you getting stuck in the ego of it.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
it's
that's
true.
That's really the test. When things don't go our way, how do we react?
Right. And so that's
kind of reveals us to ourselves.
Right. And so that's the only bad spirit that can possibly be found in that. But that's found in everything you look in, you know. You know, you can get attached to all kinds of stuff. You can get attached to Jesus. So, I mean, you can externalize your power through Jesus, but Jesus says that you're greater than him. You're going to be able to do greater things than him if you just have the faith of a mustard seed.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So you arrived that day, I think it was that day, and we met with you the next day, and I told you what had happened, and that this conversation had really hurt me, and it wasn't the first time that I'd had this conversation with somebody, and you...
It won't be the last.
Yeah. And you right away pulled out your Bible to, I don't remember what, like I have to write these down.
Yeah, no, I had to get on it because that's the fight that I fight. And so I'm not wrestling against Christianity or Christians. I love Christians. I love Jesus. Jesus saves me every single day. But what we wrestle against is the powers and principalities in the high places. And that's what we have to be mindful of. And just a lot of the church is judgmental. And you know what? Jesus says, judge not, lest ye be judged.
Exactly.
And a lot of these folks that I talk to on the streets, Christian folks, want to go back to the churches, but they feel so judged. And that's not what Christianity is about. Christianity is about pushing yourself to the limits, but at the same time, it is definitely not about shaming others, no matter what their sins are. You may not agree with them, and of course, you may not want to follow what they're doing.
Right.
That's of course you're not going to want to, but to shame them, you should never shame your brothers.
Yeah, I agree absolutely, and that's my biggest heart place is doing my best to accept everyone in their faith. And yeah, so do you know what you read me? Because it was so good. It was about Jesus, or there was somebody, the disciples had seen.
Okay, so in Luke 9:49, John reports to Jesus. He says, "There's a man going around and he's healing people, but he's not healing people in your name. He's not one of our followers." And Jesus says to him simply, "Do not forbid him, for he that is not against us is for us."
I love that. It gives me chills every time.
Right. And so if you're going around healing people, why would you condemn them and try to put doubt into their minds? Okay, because that's what we're really fighting, is that doubt and that worry and stuff. That is where you're going to find the devil, is in the fear,
Which I get a lot.
Yeah.
Trying to stop, but it's
natural.
hard.
It's natural for us to fear, and it's natural for those folks to fear. And I have a deep spot for them. They're only trying to find true happiness.
Yeah, as long as we don't spend. For me, it's when I'm in fear, just recognizing it,
recognizing,
and then getting out of it.
Well, you don't even have to get out of it. You can just enjoy the fear, man. And if you enjoy that fear,
it goes away.
You can't feel joy and fear at the same time, can you?
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
True. Yeah. So tell us a little bit, like you did a 40-day
fast in the wilderness, just like Jesus. Yeah. I try to do it like Jesus, but you see, if you try to go in Wisconsin and fast, people will start giving you crates of food. And during that time, I fasted. I fasted off of meat, and I fasted off of a lot of different things. And I ended up fasting for 3 days straight off of everything, food and everything. And then I took a vow of silence while I was there, and that opened up my mind. And then that's, like I said, people kept feeding me. I was like, I'm trying to fast. Why are you guys feeding me? And then that's when I was angry about that. I realized, wow, I'm angry because people are feeding me. What kind of a great world do we live in, where if you try to go just starve yourself, people will actually feed you?
Yeah.
I mean, that is an amazing world. And this is in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
This isn't like in the city. This isn't in a town. I'm in the middle of the woods in nowhere. Where are these people coming from? Yeah.
That sounds pretty fascinating.
It was amazing.
Did you notice your mind settling down?
I noticed that my mind sped up, and I noticed that I was capable of handling that better. No, my mind did not slow down at all. It actually increased in speed. And at first, it kind of drove me a little bit crazy because I didn't have nowhere to put that except looking at the fire and stuff. And But then you learn how to deal with that, and you start conditioning yourself to deal with that beautiful mind, because that's what our minds are supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Do you want your heart to stop beating?
Mm-mm.
Do you want your lungs to stop functioning? You want your kidneys to stop functioning? So why would you want your mind to stop or slow down? No, you want it to speed up.
Mm-hmm. Or become clear.
Become clear is when you just are in sync with your mind. Yeah. Yeah, you get that clarity. Now, it's when you want your mind to slow down and it's just like, that can become a dangerous thing and add a little bit more.
Yeah.
To me, yeah.
Definitely.
I have to listen to my thoughts, and I have to sit there and listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, but to push back on that a little bit, from my perspective, if the mind thinks too much, then it's out of balance.
You have to recognize when it's out of balance, definitely. Yeah, you definitely have to recognize it.
And to find moments of just transcendence, which is beyond words.
Right.
I believe.
Oh, yeah. They call that Buddha brain, and where you just thought without words. And that's a beautiful thing if you can achieve it, and it's very possible. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't have a problem with my thoughts racing. I love when they race, but like I said, I can practice the Buddha brain.
That's cool.
Rein it in.
Yeah, I like that.
Being in charge of the mind. At least partly.
Right, yeah.
I have a philosophy too that if I can connect fully with the moment in stillness, that's when the higher power can enter me more effectively.
Well, exactly. This moment right now, the creation, it might have happened a long time ago, and it might happen in 7 days, but the creation and the creator is happening right now.
Yeah, we're
and
continually
so if
creating.
you recognize that, you can see that you were given the power of the creator because the creator flows through you, and now everything you're doing is you are the creator.
We definitely create our own lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ultimately.
Definitely.
At least the mood of it, for sure, and what trajectory we're manifesting on, and
and our surroundings. I mean, Jake's a great example of that. He got on his bike and just started traveling.
Yeah, I was not this person when this started. I was weak. I was a drug addict. I was addicted to comforts. I loved my bed. I loved my heat and air conditioning. I loved my ice cream and my coffee maker. I loved my hot showers. I loved all of that. And it turned into a love affair that was abusive. And since then, when I transitioned out of that, it was painful. Yeah, it was painful at first, but
you stuck with it.
But I stuck with it, and now it feels great. Yeah.
Yeah. You've gone through a pretty massive transformation, I would imagine.
I can tell over the last 3 years that I have.
Yeah. And you seem pretty calm and serene, connected. So that's pretty opposite of being addicted and lost and chaos. And
oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy to know you.
Well, I'm happy to meet you guys, and man, it's been so great having you. So great you having me here because, like I said, what I do, there is no culture for having a pilgrimage. There's no culture for having a spiritual awakening. You're going crazy. You're losing your mind. Don't do it. Just do this, do that, and I want to create a new culture with love and empathy for people who are traveling across the country, whether they're drug addicts or whatever, because a lot of these drug addicts don't know that they're on a spiritual journey, and the only way they can deal with this crap is to get high, is to start doing narcotics and things to make them feel better. Because when you're homeless and you don't have a home, and you got mosquitoes and heat and cold and everything biting at you, you'll do anything to feel better. You'll do anything. And if you don't know how to do yoga and meditation or pray to Jesus or just cling on to the joy of the moment, if you don't know how to do these techniques, it can be devastating. Yeah. And that's all these people are seeking, these people on a spiritual journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all any of us are seeking, really. We're all just looking in different places.
Yes.
You know, and I do love the idea of creating our own culture. I mean, we're so on board with each other in that way. It's just, I believe if we can just turn away from the mainstream culture and just create our own.
Right.
You know, and
a culture free of fear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's that fear that creates such a terrible culture.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. And what, I mean, the opposite, or one of the opposite feelings of fear is love.
Yeah.
Right?
And everybody's always asking me, hey, you ever have somebody rob you or steal from you or hurt you? And I've been all over the country in some weird places. It's all been love and peace, and people just like help me everywhere I go, you know, and that's what I see. And so I don't see all of I mean, I know it's out there. I know the violence is out there. I know it's bad. I know it's tearing people's lives apart. That's no doubt. But is it as bad as people are making it out to be? Is it destroying this world? You know, what's really going on?
Well, you have had some run-ins with people who aren't kind. And,
just two.
Yeah.
Just like 2 or 3. And usually those people are just hurting, you know. Yeah, they're confused and they're afraid of me. They're terrified. They're like, oh, this guy's a drug addict. He's going to break into my house. We don't want him in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, you've been a direct witness to the love in people's hearts.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I have lived off the love of people's hearts. I wouldn't have made it this far. I would have died. Yeah, no, I would have died in the wilderness.
All right. You know, and that's one way I look at Jesus's teachings is I look at him as like a radical love philosophy. You know, love your enemies. That's radical.
It is radical for us.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the most logical thing you can possibly think of, because, you know, if you hate your enemies, well, they're just going to rise up and take you down. You know what I'm saying? And then how is that hate going to help you at all?
Yeah.
You know, that hate is nothing but a blindfold to me.
Yeah.
I have a temper problem and an anger problem, and I get the hate thing. So don't get me wrong. I try to practice Jesus all I want, but I still got a lot of hate in my heart for things. And it's a blindfold is what it is.
Absolutely.
And when I recognize that, I try to take it off.
Yeah. Yeah. And something you said this morning, really, I want to touch on it because I think it fits right here. And you were talking about how Jesus exercised people.
Oh, yeah. That's what got me about... this is where he was being accused of being possessed by Beelzebub and casting out demons with demons, and
how Jesus
how he
released
released the bondage of the demon. Okay, yeah. Right here he says that that's what I was trying to find. Oh, no man can enter into a strong man's house and steal his property unless he binds the strong man first and then steal his goods. And so right there, he kind of tells you that, you know, like the body is a temple, and if you are strong, nobody can enter your house and steal your goods. But if you're weak, somebody can come in and bind you. And all Jesus did to these possessed people was release the bounds that they have, whatever blockages that they had, that was keeping them from joy and happiness in the Holy Spirit.
And I just love that, because that's really what we believe in, is the mind is the key.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you can get to the mind, if you can hone the mind, if you can train the mind, then...
Oh, it's a beautiful helper, but it's a terrible master. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say your mind is the devil, but man, it can become the obstacle. And if you look into the word Satan, what does Satan translate to? It is the obstacle. Satan is the obstacle. So
what does it translate to? Oh, it translates to the obstacle?
Satan translates to the obstacle, whatever the obstacle is.
Well, and if, you know, if our minds are run by unproductive personality aspects, or fearful or hateful or greedy, or if we let that run our mind, then we're like you were calling personality aspects different egos, you know. If we let that run our mind, that's when we get in trouble.
Yeah, if we cling on to that.
Yeah. And then we're completely out of harmony.
Yeah, we got to be able to be fluid and jump off of that onto another thing, onto another thing, onto another. Reality is constantly happening, and what we do is get stuck in the past or the future and forget to sidestep or duck or something like that, and then something whops us in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, we can get lost.
This is how I look at fear, kind of. It's like a cat and the black cat out in your yard, and you're doing yard work and you're terrified of this black cat. And so what you're doing is you're like weed eating, but you're staring at the cat the whole time. Or you're like
cutting down a bush you didn't mean to.
Clipping your hedges and you were staring at the cat the whole time, and now you're driving your lawnmower and you're staring at the cat. How good is your lawn going to look? You know, how good is your house going to be? How well is your mind going to be? It's saying,
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I'm all about like cultivating the mind garden.
Yes.
You know, and let's build more gratitude and love and forgiveness.
Yeah.
Basically the Christian ideal.
Well, Jesus says heaven is like a tree. And that's why my series is called Tree of Life. Because when I began this, it was a lot of suffering, and people are like, oh, you're always outdoors. How do you keep from suffering? It's like, well, I'm teaching my mind to just enjoy stuff that you would normally not ever enjoy. You would enjoy being out in the rain, enjoy the terrible wind that keeps blowing stuff around, enjoy the cold, enjoy the heat. I even learned how to enjoy the mosquitoes biting me. Yes. So,
would you say enjoy or content?
No, enjoy. Okay. Because you can enjoy something and still do something about it. You don't have to continue to let it happen. So the mosquito's already biting me by the time I notice he's biting me. So what should I do? You know, am I gonna get mad at him? You know, or shouldn't I feel joy for everything if I can?
That's
you have the ability. You definitely have the ability to feel joy over everything, and it gives you a power like you would never believe. And it doesn't mean that I'm just going to let a swarm of mosquitoes eat me. No, you will always have that sense of self, but if you can just kind of like detach from that sense of self for a little while, it's a power like you'll never know.
Yeah, I love it. It's interesting how we all get to that place of peace, or not all of us, but people who do get to that place of peace have something unique that got them there. You know, whether they found a certain teaching or however, everyone's unique in their way of finding peace. And I think that's pretty beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You who are the source of all illumination, please illuminate also my heart, so that I too can do your work. Om Bhuvaha Swaha. Savitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvaha Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvaha Swaha Tatsavitovarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat
So do you have any more things that you'd like to tell our listeners about the journey of understanding homelessness and
Yeah, homelessness, we can touch on that for a second because that's something that's often misconstrued and people often want to place this stigmatism on them that they can choose what happens to them. They choose to stay homeless. They chose not to go into these programs. They chose not to do this and they chose not to do this. Well, I got something to say. Go homeless for 2 weeks and see if you're not insane, okay? And then how can an insane person possibly make a sane decision? It's impossible. It doesn't even make sense. And so when you start to think about it this way, it's like these people are no different than handicapped people. And would we leave the handicapped to just like crawl up the stairs? You know, would we leave the blind to just bump into walls? No, we wouldn't. And these people are blinded by their insanity. And so, of course, they're not going to make rational decisions. Of course, they're going to be homeless. Of course, they're going to tell people to F off. They're not working for you. They're just not rational beings. And so if we can get that out of our heads, that can be one of the best things to help end homelessness.
And you're telling us about the program in Houston. I think that's pretty cool that they pretty much housed everybody.
Well, yeah, because the solution to homelessness is homes. And like I said, if you're homeless, if you're not insane by the time you reach homelessness, you're going to go you're going to go insane pretty quick after homelessness. And so if you can just put somebody in a house and get them off the streets and get them maybe somebody to talk to about their lives and maybe get them some food and stuff, they start to feel more sane and they start to feel less shame and the insanity will just heal.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So I'm wondering, do you have any advice as to overcoming addiction?
Don't shame yourself. Embrace it. Embrace it. we're all addicts. We're all addicted to something, and it's just the way that we're wired. And you just found something that's easy to get addicted to, and that's easy to get a hold of. But that's because you don't know the other ways to get high. And so we have so many naturally occurring endogenous chemicals within ourselves. We are the most sophisticated chemical factory on this planet. And so we produce all kinds of stimulants, dopamine, serotonin. We produce all kinds of pain relievers, endorphins, enkephalins. And so a lot of us are striving for this dopamine, which we produce. And dopamine happens anytime you watch TV, or you smoke a cigarette, or you drink a cup of coffee. You get that dopamine rush. Anytime you do drugs, you're getting that dopamine rush. And a lot of the times, that's why when we get super tolerant to these drugs, we're like, why isn't this drug getting me high anymore? Why isn't it? Because you're not really high on that drug. You're high on the dopamine. And so you're high on all the adrenaline and the enkephalins. You're high on the DMT that's being released in your brain, and you don't even realize it. It's just this thing is a trigger. And so if you can go and find something else that will release these things in your mind and in your mind and your body, that's the strongest way to overcome addiction, is to become addicted to the endogenous chemicals that are within you.
Yeah. There's a bridge, though. There's got to be a bridge, because, being addicted to a chemical, like in any of the hard chemicals, or even hard pharmaceuticals, the brain has to balance back out, because it really does wreck the dopamine receptors. And
You're always your body and your mind is set up in such a way it always seeks a point of homeostasis. And so if you're always pleasure seeking, and you're always seeking that stimulation, whatever it happens to be, it could be a long list of things. But once you are constantly doing that, your body will decline in neuron receptors. You won't have enough dopamine. You won't have enough receptors to catch the dopamine, no matter how much dopamine you shoot. And so a lot of times we have no problem shooting the dopamine. It's catching it in our receptors. We don't have enough receptors because we're sitting around getting stimulated all the time. And now that's where all the suffering and stuff from Christianity comes in. It's like meditation and exercise and cold baths and cold showers, all these things, going to work, all these things, working physically and even mentally, it produces more of these neuron receptors. And so then anything will kind of stimulate you. Any kind of little thing will just be like, ooh, this is so nice.
So
we become more sensitive.
Yeah, we become more sensitive.
And then we pray for a little bit, and then we feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have lots of dopamine receptors.
Oh, yeah. When you pray, man, you are definitely triggering a lot of those natural chemicals, man. Yeah.
So I'm curious, what advice do you have for somebody who's in that bridge? Their receptors are down and they want to be done. What advice do you share with somebody to say, you just have to get there, and how do you get there?
Maybe you don't have to get there. Maybe you just have to be here.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you stop worrying about the future and start thinking about the right now.
Yeah. And accept the suffering.
And accept what's going on in your life. It's no shame to it, because so many people have gone through it. And it's not that you're a weak person. It's that you're just going through this struggle, and this is what you're learning from. And so the biggest thing is to not shame yourself. Yeah.
And you were talking about getting on a bike, like how that helped you so much, and if they would just get on a bike.
Well, I mean, some of these people, like I, in my experience, when I was trying to let go of the drugs, I had to just get away from them. And if that took biking to the next city, that was biking to the next city. If that took hiking to the next city, it was hiking to the next city. And it's not a hard thing to do. And people love you. There's love everywhere you go. And if you're trying to do right and you're trying to be right, man, people can sense that and they'll just take care of you.
It's true.
Yeah. So I would encourage anybody, like, if you need to pick up and leave and go to a next city, I'm not saying jump on a bike or just go hiking, but it is definitely so possible, and it's something that holds a lot of people back. And you have to get away from the drugs. That's the main thing.
Number one. Yeah. And I just want to clarify for our listeners that we're talking about a bicycle, not a bike, like vroom, vroom. So
yeah, pedals.
Getting that body to move and sweat and
yeah, you get addicted to it. I got addicted to the biking the first year I did it. I got dropped off 300 miles away from anybody I knew, and then I just started bicycling. Like, I did that 40 days out in the wilderness like that, and then I had my bicycle with me, and I just biked back on that bicycle 300 miles. And before I even started taking that bike ride, I had to go around, gathering stuff when I was, in the wilderness and then I was on my bicycle. I got addicted to my bicycle and just like pedaling and just like, I was like, oh man, I could feel something in my spine moving up my spine, and it felt good. It was like a warm feeling. And a lot of people refer to that as the Holy Spirit when you feel that sensation.
From one quote from the Tao Te Ching that you remind me of, it's you get in harmony with the Great Mother, and then the Great Mother takes care of you. Boom. You seem to be like a living example of that.
Yeah.
You're getting in harmony.
I'm getting in harmony with myself.
That's where it all begins, right?
Yeah, and I do what comes naturally as a human being, which is mostly love and compassion. Yeah, and helping your fellow people that are right next to you. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So for our listeners out there, please check out his channel, follow him. They can reach out to you on Facebook too, right?
Yeah, they can find me, Jacob Erwin, Erwin. Yeah.
And
Erwin.
Yeah. Or you can look me up on YouTube, Son of Man, Tree of Life. Just
all together, but with spaces in between the words. Yeah, and you're on a mission to, or your next mission is to possibly create a bicycle trip for people.
I would like to take addicts on a bike ride, on a bicycle ride, and see if I can't get them addicted to something else. Yeah. Or not addicted to something else, but get something else to trigger all their natural chemicals.
Yeah, and help them have that bridge.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And we're behind you with that. And if anyone wants to help him with this, funds, or if you have a bicycle to lend or sleeping bags or tent, he's hoping to go on this journey with some people who are suffering from addiction from Sparta to...
Well, it's going to be from La Crosse to Hillsborough.
Okay.
About.
On the Sparta Trail.
On the Sparta Trail.
Okay. And you're going to hopefully do that this month with a prototype.
We're going to do like a test run this month. What is it? August, September. We're going to do a test run sometime in the middle of September. And if it's not too cold, November is looking like, but we're not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But still, if anyone wants to participate in that venture of trying to help addicts have that bridge.
Recovery, yeah.
Yeah, the bridge to recovery and sobriety through the means of bicycling and camping on a trail.
And just community. Yeah, you'll get a sense of community too,
right.
Because, you'll see so many people that are on your path, and they'll literally be on your path.
And we know from our own experiences that our culture is seeking new ways to help create quote unquote treatment plans for addicts.
They have to. It's getting to such a state of crisis that it is ripping this whole country apart. And all the gun violence and all that stuff that's going on. Everything that's going on in the world, man. it leads down to inequality, and it leads down to mental illness.
And mental stagnation, physical stagnation. And people just like, I don't know what to do.
That's definitely like if you are not fulfilling your purpose, I mean, your spirit is going to just eat at you and eat at you and eat at you. And I know that's why I do what I do. Because like if I go work a 9 to 5, I feel good at the end of the day, but I'm not fulfilling my purpose. So I'm like, where's my purpose? Where's my purpose? And Buddha says our purpose is to find our purpose. And once you do, it is the greatest thing you could ever accomplish.
Yeah. And I feel like if you can spearhead this type of treatment for people, that it will spread all over the country, and you don't even have to be the one guiding all the bicycle trips.
Oh, yeah. That's the strongest thing. I want to, start a movement. Right.
And I really think that's great. So anyone who wants to help him on this journey, reach out to him.
Yeah, just see how easy it is to ride from the next city to the next city to the next city. It's easy.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to finding out what happens next in your life, and what God's plan is for you, and how that aligns with your hopes and goals, and what happens next. Who knows,
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
No problem.
I feel like we're
and it's my duty.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we're all in this together, for sure.
We're all in this together.
And we are starting a movement. I think that's important to realize. It's like a new culture is emerging.
I feel like the movement's already started, and we just got to either join it or join something else. But I want to be on the winning side, which is love and compassion. Yeah, because that's the only one that's going to bring us through eternity.
Yeah.
The only one that's going to bring us peace in this lifetime as well.
Exactly.
Really.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And like I said, please reach out and support however you can, or grab your bike and go bicycle with Jake. Until next time, have a great month, and many blessings and much love. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. I woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birdies sat by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of a melody pure and true. Yeah, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning,
about the rising sun. 3 little birdies sat by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of a melody pure and true. Yeah, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
A couple announcements. We are having our September satsang at the Commons at 11 a.m. on September 11th. We will be discussing and sharing with each other about sovereignty and inner freedom. So please come join us. It is free to everyone. We will have children's activities as well if you'd like to bring your kids and enjoy some spiritual gathering together. Also, Monte teaches a Tai Chi class on Saturdays at noon, also at the Commons. So please join us there for some Chi movement and good for the body, good for the soul. For our broader audience out there who can't join us here in Viroqua, I do want to let you know that we are about to launch our membership. We have been doing so much, providing so much free stuff for our beloved humanity, and we're ready for members to support our work and also to work with us in a more personal setting. So please check out our website, join our newsletter, and you will be the first to know when the membership goes live. Our website address is www.theheartmindcenter.org. Thank you very much. Be well.